Hi everybody, welcome to the continuation of Activity 155 Pegboard toy. Last time we stopped with the assembly of the pegboard with the creation of the end pieces and then the assembly and constraining of the round peg and square peg. And then as you noticed on page 7 of the activity, there's an alert that the people in charge have decided that they need to improve the pegboard toy with the creation of a triangle peg. And the triangle peg measures 1 inch high and 3 inches long and looks like this. And then of course we will need to update our pegboard to accommodate it. So let's look at that. Let's create the triangle peg first. It's a 1 inch high equilateral triangle that's 3 inches long. So in Inventor, I'm going to create a new part. Now I am in I want to make sure I'm in the pegboard project. I'm going to click new part. And to create an equilateral triangle and have it be positioned where we need it to be in order for everything to look right, you can make triangles different ways. And an equilateral triangle has all the angles are 60 degrees and then the length of each side is equal. What I'm going to show you is how to create it in such a way that we can easily dimension and easily place the shape on our pegboard. Creating the peg itself, the triangle peg, is no big deal. But incorporating it into the pegboard, we need to think ahead and we need to remember the round peg and the square peg are both 1 inch either in diameter or in size for the square. So let's look at this. I'm going to start a 2D sketch and I'm just going to go ahead and pick the XY plane. And instead of drawing 3 lines, because I'm way too lazy for that, I'm going to click on my rectangle tool, but instead of rectangle, notice I've clicked on the drop down arrow. I want to choose polygon because polygon lets me tell it how many sides I want. I'm going to say 3, and I'm just going to click and drag. I'm going to go ahead and get this origin point. It's always nice, but I'm going to click and drag my equilateral triangle. Because we use polygon tool, it will be an equilateral triangle. I'm going to go ahead and just click right here and say done. As far as the size goes, remember the size of our round peg and square peg from way up here is 1 inch in size, 1 inch in diameter here and 1 inch for the square peg here. So when I do this one, I'm actually going to tell Inventor, wrong button, I'm going to tell Inventor to dimension from this point way up here to this bottom edge. It may not be, I'm not telling the side of the triangle to be 1 inch, I'm telling the triangle's vertical height, this distance, to be 1 inch. And because it's a polygon, because of the way I created it, if I type in 1, everything automatically adjusts. And it's all constrained, that's all we need to do. It won't let me add any other dimensions. So I'm just going to say finish sketch, and then it tells us to extrude this a distance of 3. And then to save this as our triangle peg. Now I've already done it, but I'm going to replace it. I'll save it and say yes. So now I have a triangle peg and I can close that. The next step of the activity says that we have to open the pegboard and edit it to accept this. And to do that, go back here, I'm going to find my pegboard and I'm going to double click. And here it is. Now, y'all hang in there and watch this once and then back it up and watch it again. And then maybe a third or fourth time might be necessary. I need to edit the sketch. Well, the sketch has already been consumed by the extrusion. So I'm going to expand the extrusion and here's my sketch. I'm going to double click on it to edit the sketch. Now I have these dimensions here that, remember when we did them, we put them in as functions of this value. It is 1/3 of that value, and then on this one it's minus half the width of the square because the square doesn't have a center point. So I'm actually going to change this now. I'm going to change it to dividing by 4. That will give me room. Okay, I'm going to do this one the same way. Divide this one by 4. And now I have room for my triangle. Doing the same thing before as a polygon with 3 sides. I'm going to click and drag. Try not to get these constraints, these things that pop up. I'm trying to click where I don't get those. Okay? I'm going to click and drag an equilateral triangle like that and say done. Now I do want this edge to be vertical like this. So I'm going to click on my vertical tool and click on that edge. Then I'm going to dimension, just like I did on the peg, from that point to this line a value of 1. Now what that gives me is the ability to place this on the part by this center point and by this edge. So I'm going to dimension, even though it's way the heck over here. Oh my gosh! I'm going to dimension from here to this line. And it should be, remember this function? Okay, it's going to be the same as that. And I believe that function was this value divided by 2. Well, we can divide it by 3. Divided by 3. And then say OK. Okay. Notice how that's in alignment now with that. Okay. Now I need to do the centering. So I'm going to click on this point and click on this edge. Bring it over here. That value is going to be the overall divided by 2. And now I have a triangle that is centered within our shape. Okay. I'm going to say finish sketch. But wait, where is it? Well, on our extrusion, we have to edit our extrusion. We can try to edit the feature. Sometimes this works. Pick the profile. It doesn't like picking the profile. See, I'm messing it all up. So I'm going to cancel that. I'm actually going to delete the extrusion and then re-extrude it. So watch this. If I right-click and say delete, careful now, do not delete your sketch. So uncheck that box and say OK. Now let's extrude it. 3/4 was the height. And say OK. Save this as Pegboard. And go ahead and close the shape. When I open my assembly file, let me double check my notes to make sure I'm on track here. When I open the assembly file, it's going to ask me if I want to update. And you should say yes. And accept that. Okay? We're going to have to redo our constraints on these. And so if you look over here, notice it gives you little warning signs. I'm going to go ahead and walk y'all through this right here. All these little warning signs have to be fixed. And we can attempt to recover them, but sometimes this doesn't work very well. So I'm actually just going to delete these. I know this seems like a pain, but I promise you it's worth the practice. Delete all of these constraints. Lots of them to delete. Check, see if there's any there. There's no in there, none in there. I'm looking for the little warning signs, and there are no warning signs. So I'm just going to drag these off to the side now. And I think see, I can move everything. I'm going to have to reconstrain this. And there's still one constraint that's missing. I'm not sure which one it is.